The following is a Candlepin Stars and Strikes rebroadcast featuring some of our most memorable programs.
WNDS Sports and Tri-State Megabucks present Candlepin Stars and Strikes.
Oh, look at this. Look at this! He got it! Ready for a spin!
Candlepin Stars and Strikes is sponsored in part by Washington Toyota Dodge Nissan. Looks good.
Looks good! That's good to go! It's a
Candlepin Stars and Strikes is produced in conjunction with the New Hampshire Candlepin Bowling Association. And now your hosts, Doug Brown and Dan Murphy.
Hi, everybody, and welcome once again to Park Place Lanes here in Windham, New Hampshire. It is semifinal time once again. Doug Brown along with Dan Murphy. Glad you could join us. And we get down to the top three seeds. Of course, many bowlers around the state. Coming up from Massachusetts also to participate in the roll-offs. We're down to just three now.
That's right, and still looking for some bowler can win 2 matches in a row. Now it's Bob Caliri's chance. Standing in his way, one of the best bowlers in the game right now is Gary Carrington.
All right, let's meet our two bowlers with lots of cash on the line today. We'll get to more of that in a little bit. But first of all, our number 3 seed, as Dan mentioned, trying to make his second win in a row from Lexington, Massachusetts, Bob Caliri.
Okay, Bob averaging 119, has a high triple 515, roll-off score 670.
Last week, Bob was able to get his first win ever here on Stars and Strikes as he rolled a 361 to knock off Paul Willits. That was good enough to move him into today's semifinal. And as Dan mentioned also, Bob, with that win last week, will move into the semifinals against one of the best there is in the Candlepin game right now, our number 2 seed, been with us many, many times before, from Plastow, New Hampshire, Gary Carrington.
Okay, Gary averaging 130, has a high triple of 480, his roll-off score 677.
All right, we will have bonus money available both for the bowlers and possibly for you at home with our bonus ball contest. But we've got 3 games upcoming, Gary Carrington and Bob Caliri, and we'll get it started right after these messages. Don't go away. We started this series 2 weeks ago. Paul Willits beat Ed Jerome by just 4 pins, but last week Bob Caliri turned it around and knocked off Paul Willits with a 361. So now we're left with our top 3 seeds in this group. Bob Caliri against Gary Carrington today, and the winner of this one against Jack Ray for the 6th position in the Tournament of Champions, the 6th qualifying position. We'll decide that next week, but first we have to decide who's going to be there. Bob Caliri starts the match. Last week, Bob 361 with 12 marks.
Good try on that diamond plus the 10 pin. Gonna have to settle for a 9. And we're underway. Semi-final week.
First ball that time for Bob, he leaves the 4-pin. No.
Just didn't get underneath that ball, because if he gets underneath, he turns the ball over a little bit, ball breaks from right to left, but that time it straightened right out for him, both of those. Pair of 9s.
Gary Carrington today making his 18th appearance in singles competition here on the Winds. Spread eagle. I suppose you might as well get it out of the way early.
Yeah, if you can assure that's the last one.
Seven for Gary. Gary was here earlier in the season, back in November. Ran up against a very warm Dave Richards, threw a 444 against him. There's the ball Gary wanted. I'd say he made a nice adjustment from the first box.
Watch how quick this one goes. These 10 pins just fly out of there.
That was quick.
It certainly was.
Even in slow motion.
And he has Bob has a re-rack. He's missing the 8-pin.
And he spotted that before we did.
Thank goodness.
By the way, without getting too far into detail, because I don't have the exact date of the show in front of me, but there was a score on the computer several weeks back. This probably goes 2 or 3 months back now, actually. It's Bob Caliri converts for the spare. His first. There was a discrepancy on the computer scoreboard, but it was corrected later in the match so that the totals came out the same. I believe Bob Mazur was involved in it. And there's strike on spare. So Bob Caliri right back, answering the strike by Gary Carrington. I believe it was a match involving Bob Mazur, but we did get a couple of notes on it in the mail, and I just wanted to point out to everyone that the score that came up at the end of the match was correct.
Yeah.
Oh, could be a double.
There it goes.
It's a double strike for Gary Carrington.
First I thought that 10-pin has no chance of staying up, and then I thought, well, good 9-pin drop, and then finally a piece of wood coming. Watch. After the first 9 pins go, now watch this wood right there. You think it's gone, and then finally it's nudged over.
$250 ball right here.
That's right. Triple strike. Looks good.
Oh. Wow, Gary down to one knee on that one. He knew he had a shot at it. Double strike spare for Gary Carrington.
And we're off and running.
But that is $25 in bonus money
That's right.
with the spare.
And Bob Caliri has a shot at bonus money with a spare strike up on the board. Just touches the head pin, and let's see, a 7-pin drop, which is the good news. But he's left with a 6, 8, and 10, and let's see where the wood settles down. Looks like he grabs a piece of the 6-pin in the wood. He's got a chance.
$25 ball here. The bonus money, of course, from Rockingham Toyota Dodge Nissan. Come to Salem and save.
Oh.
No for Bob. Rockingham Toyota Dodge Nissan. Our friend Emmett Horgan providing the bonus money for the bowlers this year. 67.5 for Bob Caliri. Pretty good, but it won't be good enough to have a lead.
I was going to say, in the normal circumstances, 67, everyone would take that. But he's at 67, Gary Carrington at 65, plus a ball in the 4th. This for a spare for Bob.
Got it. Well, he might have deserved a strike on that ball. He slid the 9-pin off the spot, but he converts it for the spare.
He could have easily had 4 marks in a row, too. He wasn't far from missing that 6, 8, and 10.
Gary Carrington now has 3 marks in a row, working on a spare. On the head pin again, he gets a break, kicks out the 6 and the 10, and let's see where the wood winds up. $25 more if he can convert this, but the wood is moving back. Let's see if it stays there.
I think he's going to have to almost go at the tip of the wood, right-hand tip, and just see if he can slide it across into the 8 and the 7.
Well, Gary has decided on a plan, and
went on the inside trying to snap things, and that didn't work either. Not much you could do with that one. You know, without going back and pulling on all the stats with Gary, everyone knows how good he is, but he really hasn't hit a stride on our show in a long time. You know, he really hasn't been on top of his game when he got here. I don't think I'd want to bowl him right now.
Well, the other thing, too, is the thing I always think of when Gary is on the show is we talk a lot about our old friend Gary Duffett, who was on many occasions and always seemed to have big scores rolled against him. And I think Gary falls into the same category. I think he's had a lot of big scores rolled against him.
But he's due to put a lot together and have a big score, and he's off and running here the first, and he's a great front runner, boy. he gets a 15-20 pin lead, and he is awfully tough to catch.
Well, he's got a 16-pin lead right now with the markup in the 6th on this 1, 3, and 7. It went, trust us.
That's a 6 drop on Bob Caliri's spare. Trying to make it 2 in a row. Not going to happen, but he'll climb within 10 pins at least momentarily of Gary Carrington.
9 bucks for Bob. A couple of reminders about upcoming programs here on the Winds. Next Sunday, of course. Oh my, the 1-5 punch-out. Very rarely see that.
Can't even steal the spread eagle.
Very rarely see that done.
Oh, and now the 3-pin, 2-pin. Yeah, 3-pin. I'm not going to say it. No.
It's a 5.
Now there's a tough 5 box. Your object pin is the head pin, you hit it. And your object pin could be the 2 or the 3. He takes the 3, he hits that, and he ends up with a 5 box.
Started to say, looking ahead briefly as we watch Gary Carrington work on this spare. Pull that one a little bit to the left, gets away with it though, 7.
That's where he can be dangerous.
Next Sunday at 12 noon, we will have our series championship match. The winner of this one against Jack Ray. Oh, no, for Gary. I think he thought he had it.
I think everyone thought it.
2 weeks from today, of course, April the 23rd, the hard to believe 7th annual Tri-State Megabucks Tournament of Champions gets underway. Watch the ball here. Off the wall, just short.
110 through 7.
And looking ahead to our Saturday show for a minute. Saturday, April the 29th. Again, we want to remind you about this. The show that aired on Christmas Day that you may have missed between Paul Berger and Glenn Shattuck will re-air on Saturday, April the 29th at noon. And then the following Saturday, May 6th at noon, we will begin our 4-week coverage, first ever coverage of the New Hampshire State Candlepin Championships, the all-events competition, the women's and the men's, semifinals and finals running for 4 weeks.
Bob Caliri right back with a big 9-pin drop, leaving the 3.
Spare it up in the 9th for Bob. Very good chance that you're going to see some of the bowlers that you've seen before here on Candlepin Stars and Strikes in that state tournament event, men and women.
Bob right back with a 7-pin drop, 3, 6, 10, trying to make it 2 in a row.
No.
Each missed opportunity by Bob, you almost feel like he's thinking, I can't afford to make too many mistakes if I'm going to win this match.
No, Gary will have the lead after the first game. He has a chance to establish the lead right now with these final 2. Almost another spread eagle. This time he takes out the 4-pin, and he's got a couple of pieces of wood. Nearly a rarity there, Dan. We almost saw the spread eagle with a piece of wood on the deck, which you don't often see.
Yeah, that's true. You'd probably go after that 2-pin with a piece of wood because there's a second piece behind it. Could cause some action back there for the other 3. No, he's going to try to split them on the 3-6 side. Let's see what happens when he hits this wood.
Might have had a chance. 129 plus a box. Grab a pen and paper. Get ready to jot down our address for the bonus ball contest. We'll have that coming up after this next break. yes, fine spare.
Gives him 139 plus this bonus ball.
Chance to drive the lead into the 20s. Oh, and that one skipped right into the pocket for a strike. Strike on spare, 149 for Gary Carrington for the opener, and he establishes a 25-pin lead after one game. We'll be back with the middle game here on Stars and Strikes in a minute. Gary Carrington picking right up where he left off. He had a 149 opening game, and he starts game two with a spare. He had 3 spares and 3 strikes in game one, including a double strike that got him kick-started. He's got $25 in bonus money already.
Full on the head pin, but look at the wood. Turn just right for him. Should be able to sweep everything from right to left.
I'll say one thing, if Gary's had any problem today, it's that he's been too good. He's been on the head pin too full, if anything. Oh, wow. But I don't believe he's missed the head pin yet on a first ball.
I believe he has.
Has he?
Yeah. Not many times, though.
Oh, that's right. He made that 1, 3,
Right.
7, and 8
Right.
spare. That's right.
Let's see what happened to this wood. Nothing. Just never touched the 7 pin, that's all.
Bob Caliri coming this way and can't get the 2 pin to fall. It'll be the 1, 2, and 10. For a spare? No.
Just broke to the left of the head pin. That's his normal reaction with the ball, is to turn the ball over, make the ball break from right to left.
$9. Well, that quickly zips the lead up over 30. Good first ball that time for Bob, and he leaves the 4 pin. Frozen wood behind it, it appears.
Well, he's usually right on these pins. Doesn't miss too many singles.
Snaps that one out of there for his 5th mark. He's got 4 spares and a strike. Gary Carrington now has 4 spares and 3 strikes. And looking for more here. Yes, sir. Strike number 4 for Gary Carrington.
I'll tell you, when he's in the pocket, those pins are just exploding off the ball. Watch how quickly these 9 pins fly out of there.
And then it looked like he got a tap up from the pin on the 10 pin.
Yep.
Just missed the head pin that time, but look at the break he's getting. He's gotten great mixing on.
Well, that's it. That's when it's a scary bowling against Gary, because if he's bowling well, fine. But if he misses the head pin and gets a break, you're in real trouble.
Oh, yes. Boy, he was just right on the money with that shot. Spare on strike. And Gary is just rolling right now. Bob Caliri on a spare. Didn't quite get that ball to come in all the way. Came in a little thin in the pocket. Gets 7.
And it leaves himself to 2, 4, 5. He's got to keep marking. He's got to get up.
That ball didn't come in either. Well, we talked with Bob at the end of the show last week. He knew exactly what he was up against here today. Oh, big there. Explosion for the strike in the 4th, and that takes us to the break. Gary Carrington in the lead. Both bowlers with marks up in the fourth. Don't go away. Here's our leader to this point. Gary Carrington with 9 marks in the first 14 boxes.
Yikes.
Working on a spare right now.
So that kind of sums it up.
And looking for bonus money, I might add. And look at this. He had the 4 horsemen plus the 7, and in a blink of an eye, it's just the 7.
And he wants that one. A little body English there. It's like, well, hell, I got this many. I might as well get one more. I mean,
Gary's aware that it's going well,
right.
so why not?
That's right. Milk it while you can.
$25 more in bonus money from Rockingham Toyota Dodge Nissan for Gary.
This game can quickly turn around on you, so if they're going your way, you keep them going.
Again, grabbing a couple of extra pins. This is the same leave he made in the first game.
The 1, the 3, 7, and 8.
Maybe. Oh, almost. So that bonus money streak stops at 3 in a row. So Gary has $50 total already. Takes the 10 box. Well, we can tell you that with that 81 through 5, Gary was at 230 at the halfway point. 230. Oh. 8 on the strike for Bob Caliri. And 9. But the lead continues to grow.
It's not that Bob Caliri's bowling that badly either. I mean, a 124 opening game, and he's about on the same pace this game so far. There's another spare for him.
And that could easily have been a strike,
right.
Dan. It appeared that a pin was coming over to clear out that 3 pin, and another pin stopped it. So he settles for the spare. It's mark number 7 for Bob. Gary has 10.
Now there's about 3 boxes in a row now that Gary's missed the head pin. Almost
Playing
made that one, though.
Yep, playing it inside. .101 through 7. He's knocked down every pin in this game. I take it 100 through 7. Left a pin standing there. Well, let's see. 2, 4, 6, 7. No wood.
Ooh.
Wow.
Well, for the first time, 2 open frames. Oh, one other time earlier.
9 again, 109. Well, an opportunity here at least for Bob Caliri. He trails by 43, but
He's working on spare. Oh boy.
wow.
Was twisting around in front of that 10 pin, never knocked it down, gets an 8 pin drop, which is good on the spare, but leaves himself the 4-10 piece of wood in front of the 4. I don't know if you just punch it right next to the channel. Nice. Right straight on it. One end or the other, try to get it moving.
10 for Bob. Again, right in the pocket, and look at the lead.
Hello.
5, 7, and 10. And not enough to get over for the 7-pin. The 2 10 boxes help him gain a couple more pins and count. But the lead, as you see, still 33 for this man. A little full again that time. And 9. Gary moves over for the 10th now. Boy, that was buried in the pocket.
He's gonna look at the 5-9.
And the spare.
128 plus the last ball.
Oh, big one. 9 drop. 137 for Gary Carrington. That'll make it a 286 total after 2. Bob Caliri with some catching up to do.
Boy, that's 3 boxes in a row. He looked like he buried the ball and just not getting a lot to shoot at.
Well, you just don't see this leave very often.
No.
The 8 and 10. That was all he could do, try and explode it over to the left. Well, Bob will have to throw a mark here just to keep the lead in the 30s. On the head pin again, maybe full that time, and it'll be the 4, 7, and 10. And no. Great effort, though. So for Bob Caliri, a 119 middle game, a 2-game total of 243. Gary Carrington in command with 1 game to go here on Stars and Strikes to determine who goes to the finals next week. We'll be back in a minute. We've mentioned it many times before. Paul Berger has been in every one of our Tri-State Megabucks Tournament of Champions, and he's looking forward to making his 7th straight appearance. Of course, the tournament begins 2 weeks from today, but we're still looking for 1 bowler to fill out the field. Paul Berger, Chris Sargent, sitting 1 and 2 right now. Tom Morgan, Jack Quinn, and John Plant have also qualified. Next week, we will get our 6th and final qualifier. Might be one of these 2 guys. Bob Caliri, Gary Sargent. Where did I get that from? Gary Carrington and Bob Caliri battling here to get into the finals next week. The winner of that one moves on to the Tournament of Champions.
Oh, what a try. Well,
9 bucks. Great effort by Bob here. Oh,
Here.
piece of wood snapped right around the 10 pin.
Right around the 10 pin is right.
One time for Bob, converting the half Worcester for a spare.
Well, it still has room. Just nudging the 4 pin over.
Oh my. Somehow the 10 pin is still up. Gary was already waved that off. He fell over the foul line, so calling a 9 box on himself. That's something we haven't seen very often.
No.
But Gary called it immediately. If your feet stop short of the foul line, but your follow-through carries you over the foul line, as Gary's did then, he kind of lost his balance and put his hands down to prevent from falling, that is a foul.
Yeah, you can take that one step further. If you're bowling on an end lane and you happen to place your hand on the wall beyond the foul line to keep yourself, that also is, that's a spare.
So Gary bounces right back with his 12th mark of the match. Bob Caliri has 8, and he's working on a spare right now. That time he gets a break.
And he leaves this 10 pin standing, trying to make it 2 in a row.
If that 5 pin had stayed up, Bob would be talking to himself. Some of the balls that he's thrown. And he converts it for another spare. Well, let's see if Bob Caliri has a run here. On the head pin again, but the leave not so good. But watch out for that wood.
Oh, he's got a chance. Gave it a pretty good run. Just didn't have enough angle for the 7 pin.
That was for bonus money as well. But instead it's a 10 box. Now Gary will step up, and he's working on a spare as well. Gary testing the slide to make sure he doesn't have a repeat performance of what happened the last time he was on this lane. Gary has a very, very short approach, one of the shortest we see. Very quick, short 3-step approach.
Just missed the head pin that time, so he'll be open in the 3rd. Bob Caliri will cut into that lead a little bit anyways with a spare 7.
9.
Lead now 31.
Gary from Plastow, New Hampshire. He and his wife Kathleen have 2 sons, Matthew and Michael. Gary works as a machine operator for AT&T in North Andover. And he looks at this, the 8 pin with 3 pieces of wood in front of it.
Yeah.
All at different angles.
I was going to say none of them very good.
Oh, and the ball took a chance. And it's still there. Now, you get pieces of wood at all different angles like that, it's very, very difficult. That'll be a 10 for Gary, and that will take us to a break. The lead is still 31 with 6 boxes to go to determine who moves into the finals. We're coming right back. You're looking at Bob Caliri, who needs to put a serious run together here. Trails by 31 pins.
Yeah, he's got to be thinking strikes right about now. Try to get one up there anyways.
He's thrown several balls that have been good enough for strikes. That might have been one of them.
Sure. 7, 9, 10.
But it came up very thin and leaves most of the back row.
Sometimes if you say it faster, it's not as bad. 7, 9, 10.
Well, the wood has moved out a little bit, which may help.
He's going to go after the 10-pin, catch that wood. Yeah.
Oh, not enough to throw it. Had the right idea. Don't forget, next Saturday at 12 noon, we'll have another edition of Candlepin Skins. And then next Sunday at 12 noon, right back here at Park Place Lanes with our Series Championship match to give us our 6th and final qualifier for the Tournament of Champions. Bob kicks out a couple of extra pins there. He'll have the 3 and the 6 for a spare. And that's his 10th mark of the match. He had 12 last week. All Gary really has to do is, if he puts up a mark for every one that Bob puts up, he doesn't really have to worry about it. Oh, how about this one? How about this one? That's worth another look. Playing it on the inside track.
Now he'll fill the spare on lane 31. And off target, but gets a half dozen.
Oh, this is the third time for this leave?
That's right.
1, 3, 7, and 8. Made one and missed one. But again, Gary did what we said a moment ago. He put up the mark to match the mark that Bob put up in that pair, so click 2 more boxes off the tote board. Bob needs big numbers in a hurry.
That's funny how it goes. You finally get a mark up and you've been burying the ball in the pocket, and then you get a mark and you miss the head pin. 1, 2, 6, and 10.
For another one? Oh. 9 box for Bob. The 1, 3, and 10. Nine box. Well, Gary Carrington now with 4 boxes to go, and with the 2 opens for Bob Caliri, Gary looking in pretty good shape right now.
4, 6, 7. A couple pieces of wood in between, but see if he can move something off the wall.
Not enough. And it's a 9. That holds the lead at 30. Final box for Gary. He's off target to the right, the half, or not final box, 8th box. And just 6. But Gary certainly has a margin for error here. He still has a 27-pin lead down to the final 2, so Bob Caliri is thinking just one thing with this ball. Comes up into the pocket for him, but not on the 5-pin.
Can't throw it much better than that without getting a strike.
Well, still room for bonus money for Bob.
If you saw the 2 fingers go up, but Bob knew.
Oh. Well, it just hasn't been Bob's day. That combined with the fact that Gary Carrington was blistering hot over the first 15 boxes or so has made it a tough day for Bob Caliri. He winds up with a 117 and a 360. And 361 a week ago. So it's already in the bank for Gary Carrington. He can roll these last 2 for bonus money. But he has already won the match. Spare. Gary will take that, I think. That is mark number 14. Now, there'll be no bonus money. So Gary winds up with $50. And you'll be in the 390s. And that'll be more than enough. That's going to be a $7 for Gary as he slipped at the line again, but he's got a smile on his face because he knows that the last 2 boxes didn't matter except for the final score. 106 for Gary Carrington. A final 392. Gary advances to the final next week against Jack Ray. We'll talk with the bowlers about that and have our bonus ball contest in a minute. Welcome back to Park Place Lanes. The semifinal match is in the record books. Doug Brown and Dan Murphy, glad you're with us today as we continue along. Our semifinal match now over, and Gary Carrington starting quickly with that double strike spare. Early on, he got the lead quickly, and he was able to kind of cruise in from there.
Yeah, he kind of set the tone, said, I'm here, and made that statement. But Bob threw a good ball all day long. He just couldn't, and especially in the middle part of the game, didn't seem like it carried that extra pin to give him a decent spare shot. And meanwhile, Gary's throwing mark after mark and kind of building up the lead, and it was pretty tough to catch him after that.
All right, let's call first Bob Caliri and have him come up. We've got a check for you, Bob, $250, third place prize money. And after the win last week, not as fortunate today. Slide right in here, and you knew you had tough competition today, certainly, and he got the lead early on you.
Yeah, he did. He's a tough bowler to come back on. He's one of the best in the game, and you can't get down too much to Gary because he'll just keep marking on you.
But from your point of view, I mean, all you can do is be on the head pin, and sometimes it just wasn't happening for you.
I felt like I threw a good ball all day, but like I said, I just couldn't carry the extra pin, the second and third string, and like I said, Gary's one of the best in the game, and he's shown why.
You got that first big win last week, so we hope to see you back soon when the new season begins in the fall. All right, Bob, thanks very much. Bob Caliri from Lexington, Mass., our runner-up today, and now Gary Carrington, as we try and get another winner in our bonus ball contest. We have $30 on the line here, plus, of course, the brand-new bowling balls for both Gary and our home viewer, if their card is drawn, if we get a match. And it will be 8 this time. Let's see, Mr. Murphy, what can we come up with? We have a match. I was going to say we have a card with a lot of writing on it, but we have a match as well. And it's from Dot Puck from Concord, New Hampshire. Dot is a winner, $30, and also a brand new set of bowling balls, and a brand new set of bowling balls for this man too. It's been a good day for you, sir. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
You got the nice to throw a double strike early and kind of get things rolling.
Yes, that was nice. I started out real good, and I didn't come in too well, but I had the lead, and that was good enough.
Well, now into the finals against a guy that we haven't seen here in quite a while, Jack Ray.
Like all 3 strings got to be like the stat now. I think he's a good bowler. He's an excellent bowler.
Well, Gary, congratulations. The 392 moves you into the finals, and now you get that shot, which is all anybody wants. You want to try and at least get the shot to get into the tournament.
That's right. That's right. You shoot for the big one right now.
All right. Good luck next week. We'll see you then against Jack Ray. Congratulations. Gary Carrington with the win, and here's the way it lines up for next week. The roll-off was held some weeks ago at Boutwell's Bowling Center, and after they totaled up all the scores, Jack Ray and Gary Carrington were number 1 and 2. So now we're going to throw out those scores and start brand new at 0-0 next week to decide this thing.
It'd be easy enough just to flip a coin. Either one of those bowlers is a welcome addition to Tournament of Champions, and either one of them can come up and throw a 450. So it's going to be a terrific match, the final week of this round.
All right, don't forget, Saturday at 12 noon, we will have Candlepin skins from the Londonderry Bowling Center, and then next Sunday at 12 noon, our championship match between Jack Ray and Gary Carrington. Should be a terrific weekend. We hope you're with us here on The Winds. Until then, for Dan Murphy and the whole crew, I'm Doug Brown. Have a great week, everybody.